Hi everyone, my name is Angel Bauer and I was asked to make a quick video on how to make a mask for the healthcare workers. I got this pattern from a nurse who recommended this site called The Deaconess, and it's a hospital in Indiana who made a pattern for people to make masks for the healthcare workers. I adjusted this pattern a little bit because when I put it on my face, I thought that it was a little small, and also the fabric is meant in the pattern, it says to fold over the fabric. So it's actually the same fabric, which now we know it's recommended to have two different fabrics for the front and back. So I have chosen a darker fabric for the front and a lighter fabric for the inside. I personally think this is really thin, so I have added a layer of flannel to my project. So first I'm going to take the pattern fabric, the front of the fabric, and put it face up. Then I'm going to take the inside fabric and put it face down. For my protective inner layer, I'm going to just put that right on top, doesn't matter what side. Now I'm going to sew the top and the bottom. This is 9 inches wide by 7 inches tall. I'll put that in the instructions. So I'm going to take my fabric, I'm going to sew the top and the bottom. Just a quick stitch, about, you know, an 1/8 to 1/4 inch inside. My machine is about 15 years old, so it's not as fast as the new ones. Okay, so I've sewed the top and the bottom. That's how it looks. I'm gonna trim off any extra strings. So now you're going to flip your fabric inside out so that you have the front and the back. And it's like a tube. So what you're gonna do with this, I have this little ironing board pad that I bought at Aldi. I have my ironing board set up, my iron's on with the steam setting. So I make this really flat. Make sure all the seams are flat. I like to even them out. And then you're going to make 3 folds or pleats. How I do this is I take the fabric with my fingers and I just fold it over. So I'm going to do this 3 times, and it's recommended to make 3 folds and then make it about 3 inches on the sides. Some people pin this, some people clip it with little tiny clips. So sometimes this takes me a little bit to get it exactly right. So I have the pleats in there. The fabric is about 3 inches wide on each side. So I'm just going to take that and press it. I'm going to press it on each side. Of the fabric. At the end, I like to just trim the sides super even because it's hard to fold over your bias tape at the end. This one's pretty even, so it should be good. So here's your folds. It's a little easier to see on the white fabric than the black fabric. So I got my sewing machine back out, and I'm just gonna sew each side. The same seam, about 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes it gets hard to push all the fabric because my sewing machine's old, and so I have to kind of push it through with my hands to get the needle over the thick fabric. Now I'm gonna sew the edge of the fabric just to make it sturdier and flatter so that when they wash it, it won't, you know, kind of come apart. Do a quick back stitch on these guys. Trim off all the excess thread. I don't know if you can see me doing that. I'm just trimming off the excess thread. So you have it all sewn up. So now I'm going to show you how to make the bias tape or the strings, ties that go around your ears. So for the bias tape or the ties, what I've done is I take the fabric that's from the bolt that's about 44 inches long. You can see from, usually it has like a little seam or something on the end. And what I've done is I doubled it up and folded it, so it's only about 22 inches long. And then I cut strips about 2 inches wide of my fabric. So I already have them prepared. So I have two 22-inch length folded fabrics, so when I unfold them, they'll be 44 inches long. I do 2 at once. You can do 1 at a time, but for me, I just do 2 so that I can have them put together and all ready to go when I need to start a mask. So first, what I'm gonna do, I get my iron out, and I'm going to fold. I'm gonna have the inside fabric up. I'm gonna fold the edges in about 1/4 inch, like this. Then I'm going to iron that little edge. Then for me, it is easy just to do it by hand. I take the fabric and I fold in to both sides till it meets the middle, like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. So I set that down on my ironing board. I kind of have to hold the end at first, and you iron it. So then I keep pinching the fabric on either side to keep the folds, and I keep folding it towards the center. So I just do this all the way down. So it looks like this. Each side is folded in. So I go all the way down the fabric. And keep going because it's very long. When I come to the end, I line up the fabric again, and I'm gonna iron the two edges over again. So you iron the edges over, and then you're gonna continue to fold the sides in until you get to the end. This is just so the insides of the seams of the cut edges don't fray for the masks. And the steam gets very hot, so keep your fingers away from the edge. Okay, so I have my strip. I like to fold it in half. I take the two layers apart, I fold it in half, and I have these ready to go. If you want to take the extra step to actually fold this in again so that it goes around the edge of your fabric, you can fold it in one more time so the edges of the fabric touch each other, and just iron it again. So you're extra prepared to put it around the edge of your fabric. Okay, so this is my method. I have the bias tape in half, like this. So what I do is I take one of the edges of my little mask and I put the bias tape like this. I put it in the middle, where I folded it, I put it in the middle of the mask. When I start sewing, I'm gonna fold this over the edge like this. And I'm gonna start right here at my finger. I'm gonna start right there sewing. I'm gonna back stitch on all the corners so that they're nice and secure when the ties get pulled around people's ears and their head. So I do this part on my sewing machine. I put the fabric flat, the insides, if you can see, the inside folds face up. I measure it in half, put the half right over, and I fold the fabric over. Put it in my machine. Make it extra secure. I kind of keep lining it up for myself. If you want to pin it to make sure that it's all even, you can. I just don't pin it anymore because it's faster that way. To the end, and I backstitch. I usually don't cut this. I usually keep going by folding the fabric. I keep going by folding this fabric in half, and I keep sewing all the way to the end, and I back stitch at the end. So I have to fold my fabric and hold it, and I hold the other side tight just so I can sew evenly. I keep folding in my fabric as I go. And cut off the edge. So then I turn my fabric around this way and I do the same thing on the other side. I already have it folded over, so now I just have to sew this tie together. Back stitch. So we have the strap on one side. So then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Sometimes I like to check if I actually sewed over the seam and make sure no fabric is sticking out. So I kind of lift the little edge, make sure there's no fabric sticking out. If there's fabric sticking out, just sew over again wherever the fabric's sticking out. So maybe a little bit inside here. Just sew over that part. Take my second piece, fold in half, and do the same thing. Put the half right in the middle. Kind of line it up on your sewing machine. Fold it over. Do your back stitch for secure. Keep folding over. Do another back stitch. Now just keep sewing the end of your string. Okay, clip all of the strings, the thread. I have this handy little garbage can that I put all my strings and extra fabric in. So now you have your mask with the ties ready to go. So usually I don't try this on, but sometimes I try it on just to make sure the first one really works. So what I did was I, just kind of open it up, put it over my nose, and tie it like this. Make sure it fits. So after I make a bunch of these, I actually sanitize them all in my dryer. I have a sanitized setting in my dryer. It's super hot and it lasts for an hour and 30 minutes. So I do whenever I finish a set that I'm gonna package off to somebody, that is what I do. So I am not a professional sewer. I only sew very little. I haven't really sewn in a long time. And what I do is just little projects here and there. I used to do a couple dresses, homecoming dresses. I made a couple handbags throughout the years. And I mostly now, like I said, just sew clothing labels into my shirts. So I kind of wanted to just read this disclaimer since people are commenting different things. This is one type of mask that is out there on a website that was approved by a healthcare facility. There's going to be tons of other websites out there and people commenting that, you know, don't do this, don't do that, but this is what I'm doing for now. If I need to update the pattern in the future, I definitely will. You know, I want to do whatever the healthcare workers want me to do, and I want everything to be safe, and you know, just I want to do this for them. This is not for me. I'm only doing this video to help you guys if you need a little help sewing. So I'm going to read this little disclaimer. So, due to the recent corona attacks across the world, I have been donating masks only to organizations and people who are requesting them from me, and specific requests from websites. I can give you this information if your organization needs masks. This face mask is not meant to replace the surgical mask. It is a contingency plan for those who have no available surgical masks in the market. Proper use of a surgical mask is still the best way to prevent the virus. Homemade masks can help you to not spread the virus, and it's meant to be washed frequently when used in public. So when you start this project, please wash your hands, sanitize your working space, wash the fabric in hot water before sewing. After I finished a bunch of masks, I put them in the dryer and put it on a sanitized setting. And then I directly put them into a sealable plastic bag so I don't touch them anymore. It is also recommended you can wipe down the plastic bag with a sanitary wipey antibacterial wipe. So also you can leave a note with your masks. You can leave a note that says what you did to prepare these, how you sanitized and washed them. And also if you have pets, you can make a little note on there. I wrote, I have 2 cats, just in case anybody needs to know that. And hopefully the facility will wash and dry the mask before they use them. There are many templates on the Facebook group, and you can see them on the side. They're listed as PDFs. So this is another template. I can have them posted on the site, and the Facebook group I am working with is Masks for Chicago Area Healthcare Workers. So if you'd like to go to that group, you can join. You can request masks for your organization, and amazing people are picking up the masks and delivering them. So definitely check out that Facebook group, and I hope this helps. Thank you.